Hello everyone and welcome to another random video on the internet. And today I have some good news and some bad news. I guess I'll start with the good news. The Christmas special is sort of done. I'll get into that later. But this video idea and some of the plot points were pitched to me by Chandler Does What Ifs, and he also drew Santa Boros. I'll leave a link to his Instagram in the pinned comment and also the description. Check him out, he's a cool guy. Now for the bad news. I spent a lot of time on this Christmas special, writing it out, recording it. A lot of work went into the script, but the video editor that I use, which is Shotcut, is dead. I don't know what the hell happened, but it's lagging so much that it's literally impossible to work with. It's done like things like this before where it lags a bit, but it was never to this extent. Like, I literally cannot work with it. And I've tried everything. I've tried literally looking up on tutorials on YouTube on how to reduce lag. I've tried everything that I could possibly think of. I tried assigning more RAM to the program. I tried trading proxies and stuff, like what the tutorial suggested. Nothing is working at all. So either it's gonna magically fix itself at some point, like it magically destroyed itself recently, I guess, or I'm gonna have to change the way I do videos entirely and get a new editing software and try to learn that, I guess. So yeah, that's the bad news. This video isn't edited almost at all when it comes to visuals, because I literally cannot edit it. I guess I'll have to learn an entirely new platform now for editing, which is amazing. I'm so glad about that. But yeah, I hope you can at least enjoy it as background noise. It's been quite a while since Boros became a hero. With power and style, he ascended from zero. Through battle and trial, he tamed a big hound. By not making it die, he was able to make it a mount. By doing so, he was breaking the rules. The Hero Association was very confused. They asked him to kill it, but Boros refused, and was able to convince them to change their own views. And so time passed by. Boros continued to rise. New monsters he was constantly hoping to fight. Through many battles he gained some new fame. But one thing that baffles is his next shift of fate. The alien one day received a new message. It was the Association again, complaining that Boros caused too much damage wherever he went. A punishment was in order. The letter was saying that they had a task to complete, and this year it was Boros who would have to take the lead. You see, winter had come, and with it Christmas season. The Hero Association, as a way to give back to the people, each year would have one of their heroes become a man who was peaceful, a man who was generous and forgiving, a man who everyone knew and looked up to from the beginning. The man was called Santa, and he always bore gifts, always had a warm smile, and never showed fists. This man was now Boros' role to fulfill. He'd give presents to children, and their spirits refill. The alien scoffs. This isn't his thing. He complains and he whines, but the heroes insist, and by threatening to reduce his salary, get him to submit. The next day, a huge box arrives. Boros opens it wide to see what's inside. Inside there's a suit, a beard and a nose. A giant red nose, the size of a house. There's also a sleigh with some presents inside. Boros swallows his pride and puts on the suit. It's highly resistant, made from the finest of silk. There's a beard there as well, Boros frowns as he thinks.
I don't know how much I already fell, but this low I won't sink.
Boros throws it away and picks up the nose. He gives it to Rover to put on his nose. The alien hops on the sleigh and hooks it to Rover. With a sigh, he begins his next set of exposure. Boros grunts as he stops the giant Christmas sleigh in the middle of a busy street. Rover, who's been towing it, sits down neatly and the alien hops out of his ride with a big bag of presents over his shoulder. He thinks back to what the Hero Association had instructed him to do. Be nice to everyone, smile and laugh a lot. The alien sighs. He looks around and sees that all eyes of the people in the street are on him and breathes in deeply.
When this is done, I'm going to find and personally kill the person responsible for making me do this.
He thinks and gives his best smile to the crowd before shouting out.
Merry Christmas, everyone! Santa has arrived. Ho ho ho! Come and get your presents.
Many kids start cheering loudly and run over to him, while the adults look on, somewhat wary. Usually Santa doesn't arrive with a giant hound as his ride. Oh well, the man seems to have good intentions. The children swarm Boros. Santa, we've been waiting all year for you! I have so many wishes! Have you lost some weight? Have you shaved your beard? My mom's been really sick, could you get her some medicine? Can I be an elf or a reindeer when I grow up? Can I help with delivering presents? Where is Rudolph? Where are the reindeers? Can I pet your dog? Buy me a bike! Join my book club! Could you give me a pair of binoculars? Please let me ride your dog? Can I have a pet like that for Christmas? The questions go on and on. The alien tries to answer each one in a way that will keep the children happy and satisfied, but to no avail. He begins to get overwhelmed. What about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? It all becomes too much for the alien. How does the association expect him to handle this? He struggles to think of a solution to his current plight. Soon he comes up with a bit of an idea.
Alright children, I'll answer all of your questions and I'll give you all some gifts later. How about you play with good boy Rover?
He points to the hound before instructing him to lay down. Boros then quickly jumps over to the dog's head and whispers into its ear.
Hey, I know it's a lot to ask, but please stay calm and let these kids have their fun with you. I'll only be gone for a few minutes, I promise. Play nice, alright?
He pleads with the monster. Rover shakes his head a bit, showing that he's not happy with the terms.
Come on, I'll give you a huge bone later as a thank you, alright?
This time Rover nods a bit, and the alien sighs in relief.
Thanks. Alright kids, be nice to Rover. I'll be right back.
He says before jumping away at top speed. To the regular people watching, it looks like he just vanished. Wow, it's true! Santa really is magic! The children shout in amazement before directing their attention to the poor dog monster. Meanwhile, Saitama and Genos are hanging out in Kuseno's laboratory. Suddenly, the door bursts open and Boros frantically runs in.
Saitama, Genos, no time to explain. I'm in trouble. Does Santa usually have any helpers who assist him in giving gifts?
He asks, clearly in a rush. The two heroes look at each other before Saitama bursts out laughing. What are you wearing, man? Why are you dressed as Santa?
I got in trouble with the Hero Association and they forced me to give presents to children. I got overwhelmed and I need assistance. Now please answer the question.
Wait, you got overwhelmed by kids? Saitama laughs even harder. Boros' face becomes red from embarrassment.
This isn't funny. I need help.
Genos is the first one to actually pay attention to the alien's request. Well, if you're wondering, Santa is usually said to have elves as assistants.
Elves? What's that?
Geno sighs.
Looks like I've got some explaining to do, as usual.
After a few minutes, Boros rushes out of the house.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Where am I supposed to find these elf creatures?
The alien wanders as he begins running laps around the planet, searching for any suitable candidates. Realistically, no human would be able to fulfill this role, as they don't fit the description of what an elf is supposed to look like. Besides, he'd have to convince a person to actually join him of their own free will, since a hero can't go around threatening people to become his assistants. Boros might lose his job if he does that, and Saitama is gonna kill him if that happens. The alien desperately searches for a monster or two that could pretend to be an elf, but so far he's having no luck. Half an hour passes and Boros is still empty-handed. Eventually, the hero decides to head back to Rover and try to deal with all the kids by himself somehow. He rushes back to the town where he'd left his pet. Once Boros arrives, he sees dozens of children swarming the poor dog monster, who seems exhausted by now. The moment Rover notices his master, he looks over at him with puppy eyes, as if begging for Boros to save him from the torment of the children. The alien sighs before turning to the kids. He's about to declare that he's back to get their attention onto him, but before he can do that, the hero notices something in the corner of his eye. A small flash of black, just around the street corner. Curious, he decides to head over to investigate. Behind said corner, the mysterious figure tries to flee, but Boros suddenly appears in front of it, using his speed to catch up to his target. The alien looks down only to see... black ass?
What's this? Aren't you the guy I killed?
Black ass begins to panic.
Oh, hi there. Answer the question. How are you alive? Didn't all of you little things merge into one being who I then proceeded to kill? What was your name again? I don't remember.
What? No, that couldn't have been me. I've never seen you in my entire life.
The dwarf responds nervously.
Don't play dumb with me. We both know that's a lie.
He grabs the monster by his head tentacle and lifts him into the air.
Answer my question or I will kill you.
Black ass freaks out.
Alright, fine. Calm down. Calm down. I'll tell you, just put me down. No need to be such a brute.
Tell me, and then I'll consider it. Talk.
Well, you see, when you attacked the Monster Association hideout, not all of us were there.
What do you mean?
You fought me before, haven't you? You know what my ability is, right? There used to be trillions of Black S. Most of them were in my main body, but a small group of cells existed elsewhere too at the time when you attacked the Monster HQ. I had just joined the Monster Association, and I wasn't entirely sure how things would work out there, so as a bit of a backup plan, I left a couple million Black S behind in a secret location. You know, just in case something happened to my main body. And, wouldn't you know, it seems that was the right choice, considering that you came along and ruined everything.
I see. Seems you're a bit smarter than I thought you were. So, why are you here in broad daylight in the middle of a city?
Well, I've kind of been tracking you ever since I found out you defeated my main body.
Seriously? How did I not notice you before? You clearly suck at going unnoticed.
Black ass frowns at the comment. Meanwhile, Boros begins to formulate an idea.
Doesn't matter. Here's the deal. I was hired by the Hero Association to play the role of Santa this year. Do you know who that is?
Boros says, lying a bit to not embarrass himself any more than he absolutely has to.
Yeah? Duh. Who doesn't know who Santa is?
Boros sweatshops at this, having just found out about Santa a mere day ago, but he continues his proposal.
Good. So, I was hired to play Santa, but I've realized that there are way too many people to deal with and the children are insufferable. I need help in dealing with them. Giving them presents, answering their stupid questions, and other nonsense like that.
Let me guess, you want me to help you?
Correct. You can multiply, can't you? You're the perfect minion for the job. In exchange for your assistance, I promise not to kill you for the rest of the month. After that I might, if I feel like it. But hey, feel free to hide when that time comes, I guess.
Black S obviously isn't too happy with this, but considering that it's either this or certain death, he doesn't really have any other options, so he agrees to help out.
Great. Hold on a moment, I'll be right back.
Boros exclaims before speeding off somewhere. He returns in less than half a minute, with a huge stack of elf hats in his hands.
Whoa! Where'd you get all this from?
Black S asks.
I borrowed these from some nearby shops.
Borrowed? You mean you're going to return them?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, go ahead and multiply. We don't have all day.
And so with his new assistants, Boros returns to rescue Rover from the terror of the children and begins giving out presents. With a couple dozen assistants by his side, it's a lot easier this time around, and the group manages to brighten the day for many young kids, and even some adults too. Soon, the three monsters wrap up the town and leave to go to another one. Throughout the next few days, they visit nearly every city on the continent, working more efficiently than any Hero Association Santa before them. In fact, they're so good at this that the Hero Association decides to give Boros an extra salary for the month.
Yes, this is great! With this, I think I can finally buy Saitama that new house I owe him.
What? Black S asks, confused, having no clue who Saitama even is.
Nothing special at all. Nothing you need to worry about.
Okay. Eventually, Boros gets assigned the task of delivering presents on the night of Christmas to all the S-Class heroes. Now quite motivated to do his job, seeing that there are some benefits to it, the alien agrees pretty eagerly. Late at night, he sets off to deliver gifts to every S-Class hero. First up, he decides to take care of Genos and Saitama, the people he could maybe even consider friends at this point, at least to some extent. He delivers Genos a new hoodie to replace the one he had destroyed in his last encounter with a monster, and for Saitama, the alien gives a briefcase full of money. Enough money to build himself that new house that he so desperately needs. Next up on the list is Tank Top Master, who gets a tighter tank top. Zombie Man receives a brand new, most advanced and innovative custom model of a shotgun, produced by Dr. Cuseno himself. Darkshine gets a dumbbell so heavy that it could literally crush a dragon-level monster like Bakuzan if it was placed onto his body. Metal Bat is given a second unbreakable bat, if he ever needs one, and as a bonus, his sister gets a book of melodies she could play on the piano. Tatsumaki gets a book on how to be nice to people. Probably not something she'll be very happy about upon waking up. Watchdog Man gets a bone and some shampoo. Puri Puri Prisoner receives a new sweatshirt. Flashy Flash gets some expensive hair grease as well as a new hairbrush. Pig God is given multiple trucks of various kinds of food. Drive Knight receives some interesting mechanical instruments and weapons to play around with, courtesy of Dr. Cuseno again. King receives a new gaming setup, including a PS6. Metal Knight can't be located. Boros just leaves some lubricant for the joints of his robots in the Hero HQ. He can pick those up whenever he wants to. Probably. Child Emperor gets a bag of candy and another bag of vegetables to balance out his diet. Atomic Samurai gets a brand new outfit, which is more resistant to attacks. And Blast gets a new letter from Boros in which the alien requests to fight him someday. Of course, the letter is left on the table of his desk, and it isn't seen by its intended recipient for a long time. Boros wipes some sweat off of his face as he finishes his last night's shift of delivering gifts.
Phew, finally done. Took longer than expected. Would have gone a lot faster if I hadn't spent so much time looking for a good place to leave Metal Knight's and Blast's presents.
No kidding. We spent hours searching for those two, only to come out empty-handed.
Black S whines. Rover yawns, exhausted from all the walking and running around while carrying everybody's gifts, including that ridiculously heavy dumbbell for Darkshine.
I know, boy, I know. Let's head back home. I'll give you that bone I promised.
The alien smiles at his friend. The trio of monsters prepares to head back to Kuseno's lab. Suddenly, a dark presence washes over the city. A chilling cold suddenly engulfs the entire area as powerful gusts of wind appear out of nowhere. In seconds, the sky goes from clear and full of stars to dark and cloudy. A snowstorm approaches.
Hey, what's going on here?
Black S shouts, the loud wind making his voice barely audible.
Don't know, but it's not anything good.
Boros responds. A blast of black smoke erupts from the other end of the street, getting the alien's attention.
Wait here.
He instructs his companions before running to the source of the smoke to check out what's going on. Upon arriving, he is greeted by a pretty intimidating sight. The black smoke is erupting from what seems to be some kind of portal on the ground. A large, bony hand with sharp claws reaches out of the gateway and grabs onto the concrete pavement. Another hand emerges and does the same thing. Boros watches on as a monster pulls himself out of the portal and crawls onto the street. It's got a cloak that masks most of his body, but the face, head, and feet are exposed enough for the alien to see that the creature has two large horns that go down to the sides of his head, which is shaped like a goat's head. The creature also appears to have hooves. But perhaps the most notable feature are the monster's eyes. Piercing red with slits instead of pupils. The three monsters watch as the figure stands up. Overall, the creature has an extremely unnerving presence, and Boros can sense that it's very powerful as well.
Holy crap!
Black S whispers from afar.
Who are you?
Boros asks. Even he's a little unnerved. The monster looks Boros up and down in silence for some time before responding.
I am known as Krampus.
Upon hearing this, Black S's eyes widen.
No way. This can't actually be him, can it?
He mutters to himself. Boros overhears this.
You know him?
I know of him. Krampus is said to be a half-man, half-goat who comes around every year to devour naughty children and sometimes even drag them to hell. I thought it was just a myth, but this guy seems to be the real deal.
I see. So what's your deal? Why are you doing this, and why only once a year?
Boros wonders. The goat monster's eyes narrow slightly.
You're asking interesting questions, boy. Very well. If you so wish, I shall tell you. Every year, on this Christmas night, the gateway between the underworld and the living world becomes accessible to those with strong magical power. I use this window of time to enter this world and feed off of the naughtiness accumulated on this planet throughout the year. Upon entering, I can freely absorb all of the planet's naughtiness and use it to empower myself. I see. So you're some ancient magician demon. Now comes the important question. How strong are you?
The alien smirks. The goat monster smirks back at him.
What an unusual question. Let's see. Using your human-made terms, After absorbing the naughtiness of this earth each year, I become what you people would consider a demon-level threat. At least when it comes to physical prowess.
Boros' smirk drops a bit. If this Krampus guy is this weak, then he may have gotten excited for nothing.
However, this year is quite different.
The goat monster's smirk grows wider.
Different how? You see, it appears monster attacks have been increasing in frequency lately. Each monster that's born into this earth leaves a substantial amount of naughtiness, giving me considerably more power to absorb and make my own. And that's not all. This year, you arrived. Boros, the self-proclaimed dominator of the universe. When you and your gang of space thieves showed up, you brought dozens of times the naughtiness this planet usually has to offer. The amount of worlds you've conquered and destroyed. The amount of atrocities you've committed. I have to say I'm quite a fan of your work. You've brought me so much naughtiness this year that it made me dizzy. As a result, I've grown exponentially more powerful than ever before.
The smile returns to Boros' face upon hearing all this. However, there's something that bothers him about the explanation.
How do you know my name and title? Just because I can't physically enter the living world throughout most of the year, doesn't mean I can't observe it.
Sounds reasonable enough. Alright then, we've had enough chatter. Sorry to say this, but this year will be your last.
Really now? You think you have enough power to stop me? Foolish boy.
I guess we'll see.
Boros shouts as he lunges at the goat monster. Krampus reacts swiftly to Boros' attack, grabbing the alien with his clawed hands and tossing him into the sky like a ragdoll. Boros hits the ground hard and rolls for a couple meters.
You really shouldn't overestimate yourself, you know.
Krampus says mockingly. Boros rises to his feet and points a finger at Krampus.
Not bad. Seems I won't need to suppress my power as much. I'll fight you with all the strength this armor allows me to output.
Fine by me.
Krampus smirks and opens his mouth wide. Suddenly, a blast of purple energy bursts out from Krampus' mouth. Boros quickly realizes that if he attempts to dodge, the blast will collide with the buildings at the end of the street, so he puts up his hands and takes the blast head on. The resulting explosion knocks Boros back a dozen meters, but the hero is able to keep on his feet. Boros groans quietly before jumping at the goat monster again, intending to land the punch on his face. Before he can get close, a portal manifests under Krampus' hooves and he falls into it, dodging the attack easily. At the same time, another portal appears right above Boros and a fist shoots out of it, hitting the back of the alien's head and sending him crashing into the pavement. From that same portal, Krampus jumps out and lands on the street.
Is this all you can manage? I almost feel sad for you. The dominator of the universe can't even lay a finger on a humble goat man.
Boros stands up and turns to the monster.
I wouldn't be so full of myself if I were you. That punch barely even stung. You're tricky, but weak.
Then I suppose it's a good thing physical attacks aren't my specialty.
Krampus declares as his eyes glow red. He lifts a hand into the air, and massive amounts of black energy burst out from below the street. The energy forms into giant whips and begins attacking Boros from multiple sides. The alien dodges the attacks easily, but they still pressure him and prevent him from getting close to his opponent. After about a minute, Krampus grows tired of this. The goat monster swings its arms around, creating dozens of portals all around the battlefield.
My dear boy, I don't think you understand the situation you're in.
He says as little blasts of energy begin shooting out of the portals, attacking Boros from all sides along with the energy whips. The alien is unable to dodge them all and ends up taking a few hits. They don't do much damage, but they do sting.
It seems this battle won't last very long.
The goat monster knows, extending both of his arms in front of himself and pointing his palms at Boros. Suddenly, the alien freezes in place.
What the?
He shouts confused before all the whips and energy blasts begin barraging his body with blows. His armor is torn in several places due to all the impacts. And with that, the power limiting systems of the armor begin weakening, allowing the alien to access more of his strength.
You've just made a grave mistake!
He screams before powering up and breaking free of the telekinetic hold the monster had on him. The noises of the ongoing battle travel across the city, waking up many civilians. Many of whom look out of their windows only to see Santa battling some kind of monster. From afar and in the dark, it's impossible to distinguish Boros and the real Santa Claus. Some kids begin chanting for Santa to defeat the creature from their windows. However, neither Boros nor Krampus notice this in the heat of their battle. The goat monster's eyes flash bright red again. He roars as he raises his arms into the air and summons a massive amount of energy around himself. At the same time, the black energy that was surrounding Boros and the other attacks quickly dissipate. Boros immediately leaps into action, charging directly toward Krampus with fury in his eyes, hoping to get to him before he can unleash his next attack. However, Krampus isn't intimidated by the speed of the alien's charge. Instead, he lowers one of his hands, points it at Boros, and another portal appears right in front of the hero. And another portal opens up right above the asphalt of the street, horizontally this time. Boros is unable to stop his momentum in time and runs into the first portal, only to come out of the second one and crash into the ground. The alien quickly jumps back to his feet, but it's already too late. Krampus has charged up his attack and sends it hurling toward the hero.
Now what will you do? If this ball of energy explodes, you can say goodbye to the entire city.
Boros looks at the incoming attack with a concerned look. It's not going to be enough to do much damage to him, but the city and its people are in danger and he can't afford to get them killed. Suddenly, a blast rockets past Boros and into the bottom of the energy ball, shifting its trajectory and forcing it to rise high into the air where it floats off into the atmosphere harmlessly. Boros turns to look who could have fired the shot and sees Rover.
Good boy! I'll give you 2 bones when we get home.
He smirks before turning to face Krampus again, who snarls at the duo.
I'm afraid you won't be getting home,
he declares before unleashing his next attack. A massive beam of light streaks across the sky and strikes the goat monster's body, vaporizing his cloak and revealing the body underneath. The beam seemingly empowers the goat monster.
I'll show you what I'm truly capable of,
the monster declares, his eyes glowing brighter than ever. However, before he can do anything else, something happens. A portal opens up behind the goat monster and starts sucking him in.
Already?
Krampus shouts in surprise.
Huh? What's going on?
Boros asks, confused.
Seems I lost track of time. The gateway between the living world and the underworld is closing. It appears our battle is at its end.
Boros' eyes widen.
No, you can't just leave like this. Come on, we just got started.
Sorry, I don't have control over reality itself. But I can promise you this. If you survive until next Christmas, I'm going to come find you and finish what we started.
Then I guess I'll be waiting. But know this. Next year I'm sending you to hell.
Krampus smirks back at him.
Where do you think I come from?
With those final words, Krampus is sucked back into the underworld. Boros sighs. On the one hand, it's a bummer that he didn't get to finish this fight. But on the other, at least he'll have a better fight next year. Plus, he doesn't have to worry about the civilians getting hurt anymore. Speaking of which, the alien just now notices the chants coming from the windows of the apartment building surrounding the area. Santa! 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 The alien smiles to himself before jumping over to Rover and Black S.
Come on, guys, let's go home.
For real this time?
For real this time.
Upon getting to Dr. Cuseno's lab, Boros gives Rover his bones, grants Black S permission to rest up in the basement, hangs up his Santa outfit, and quietly makes his way to his room, trying not to wake anyone up in the process. When the alien gets to said room, though, he's greeted with a surprise. He finds a man sitting in his favorite couch. A man with a lush white beard, a red jacket, red hat, red pants, and a big belly. Could it be?
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, Mr. Boros. You haven't been the best person throughout your life, but I'm happy to see you improving so much this year. If you keep this pace up, I might eventually take you off the naughty list.
The man winks at Boros before handing him a small box. The alien is surprised and most of all confused. Shocked even. Bewildered. Could Santa really? He looks down at the box for a moment, and when he looks back up, the mysterious man is gone. As if he was never even there to begin with. Boros isn't sure what to make of this. For now, he decides to simply sit down and check out what he'd just received. The Dominator of the Universe carefully unpacks his present. Inside the box, there's a small replica statue of his old spaceship.
Well, this certainly brings back memories.
He smiles genuinely. Maybe this whole Christmas thing isn't so bad after all. Christmas night has arrived and brought us new glory. With satisfaction and pride ends Boros' story.